Can you scoot to the side, please? Thank you.
Was just every Friday hanging out with the family at your house and smelling the food as you cooked it, and then hanging around the table all together, eating as a family and playing games and having fun.
When I asked you one time of why I don't get to choose my birthday dinner, and you had said, well, because it's tamales. And you asked, well, what would I want if I had said enchiladas? And that was like the end of the conversation. Then on, you made enchiladas a part of Christmas dinner. Just so it shows how much you love us and are willing to do extra for us. And I know I've always told the family, you're welcome. We have an even better dinner now.
One great memory that I have from being very young is hearing your rolling pin, making tortillas in the morning. I knew that was going to be a good day.
My favorite meal, of course, is the tamales that you make. And then just making chocolate chip cookies with you. That was always like my favorite thing to do.
After being in New York for lots of months, I would get off the plane and I would go, of course, straight to your place, and you would have food waiting for me. And it was always the best because it was sometimes the first home-cooked meal I'd had in a long time. And it just was a huge reminder that I was home. And then, of course, I have to mention your cookies, which are still to this day the best cookies I've ever had.
Grandma, I love all of your meals and all of your food. I have lots of fun memories cooking with you and you teaching me and me writing them down multiple times. And maybe they change a little bit every now and again, but I really have enjoyed the process of learning from you. And my favorite, though, is making tamales. I love it when we all gather around, and thank you for trusting me with filling the tamales.
So my favorite is always going to be tacos. I've always have put myself in such pain when you make your tacos. And Megan has inherited the whole putting wishbone on it, which the whole family loves. Eva loves it. I always tell her she doesn't put enough wishbone on it. So you'll be cooking and I'll be watching a basketball game or the Giants or something, and I'll say, hey Lita, are we gonna eat today, or sometime tonight, and so now your great grandson Gio has inherited that, and he does that to Megan when she's cooking.
Is that somebody at the dinner table will say something and your response to it will be, And in that one little noise that you make, you communicate a whole lot.
Telling me that you'd sell me to the Indians if I didn't behave.
I love all your greetings to everyone, and my favorite is hi muchachita, or if you're not sure what we're doing, it's ay muchachita.
So like, ay muchachito.
Well, you kind of have two versions of this. One, I know you are not mad at me and you just are a little embarrassed or whatever as you say, ay muchachito, ay muchachito. But if you're actually upset with me because I have just cursed or said something that offended you, you say, ay mijo, but you don't look at me. You give me a look, but it's not right at me. It's a look.
Ay muchachita, or ay muchachito. And then usually the guys get a bonk on the head as well. Not us girls, though.
Oh, mija. That's my favorite always. Or mijo. You could call us, instead of mija, you'd say mijo on accident. That was always my favorite.
You were always a room mom and volunteered to sell ice cream, and one Friday afternoon I decided to get in a fight, and I remember the principal yelling at me and yelling at me and yelling at me until a light bulb went off in his head. Wait a minute, your grandmother sells ice cream today, doesn't she? let me go get her. And he broke me there. Then I knew I was in real trouble.
We were in the car and I told you that I'm gay. And how that went is I said, I'm gay. And immediately, without missing a beat, you said to me, well, mijo, there's nothing we can do about that, is there? And we just had a good laugh about it. And that's definitely my favorite interaction with you.
Was going to the park and taking some bread, squishing it up, leftover bread, and feeding it to the ducks at the ponds when that was allowed.
And, you said, you don't need to go to Taco Bell. I'll make you some tacos. And Brian and I are sitting there going, oh, you make some tacos. Okay, yeah, we're in. But they were the rolled up, look like burrito tacos. And we said, Lita, we thought you were making us tacos. And you looked at us with a strange look and said, those are tacos. What are you talking about? And we said, no, they're not. They're burritos. And you basically said, what the F are burritos? Those are tacos right there.
The first time I got pregnant with Rain, for telling me about your experiences and what had happened before my mom was born, and then just you sharing about each experience that you had with, Tia Cotto being your most miserable because you were in Oakland and hot and having to walk uphill. It changed my image of you just being our grandma to somebody who's gone through real stuff.
Well, it goes back to cooking. I just love being in the kitchen with you.
Playing the Mexican bingo game. That was always fun whenever I came over.
That my grandfather was such a cool guy. He could just look around the table for what he wanted, and you knew what it was.
There was a lot of people at your house, and it was the usual chaos. You and Grandpa were both sitting on the back of his pickup truck with the door down, and you were just sitting there talking and holding hands. And you had escaped from all of the craziness inside the house, and you were just spending like an hour by yourselves. And I think of that as just to me showed how much you two were in love with each other and how much you really loved spending time together, whether it was with family or without family.
I think of your long, happy marriage and the love you had for each other, how much I want to share that with my family and Carrie for the rest of our lives.
Two people who loved each other through good times and bad, and created a strong sense of family in every generation to come after that. The love and safety for me coming from your house is what I'll always take away.
Think of you guys dancing together. That was always my favorite memory of you guys, is just you guys always had so much fun dancing to the mariachi together.
Two things. One, I always think of you sitting next to him at dinners. A lot of families, the man of the house and the woman of the house take seats across from each other, but your spot was next to Grandpa. And the fact that you guys were still that close and had that kind of respect for each other after, I don't remember how many years you guys were married, just means a lot. And it's just an example of what a relationship should be. And I hope to have that one day. And the other one was Grandpa's speech to you during your 50th wedding anniversary. I couldn't understand a lot of it. But again, that's the time when I realized that you guys are our grandparents, but you went through some real stuff and you still stuck together and you still loved each other, and just the emotion that he still had for you after 50 years. I'll never forget that moment. I'll never forget his speech.
I think of true love. I loved the way he always made you laugh, his jokes, or whether he'd grab you from behind or whatever it was. He loved you to the moon and back.
I think of love, I think of soulmates. Except for when you play cards together. I want to be with my soulmate and, you know, be married that long and just be that in love. I didn't get that, unfortunately. I ended up with Megan.
I am so thankful that I grew up in a home and a family that always welcomed everyone and that we always got together every week. And I love how that tradition has continued on. Even though we don't see each other every week, I still love that we see each other often and that during holidays we all get together. That's something I will always cherish and I will pass on.
The importance of family. That no matter what, it's us that are there for each other. Even when we go through our ups and our downs and we might not see eye to eye, you'll always be there for us. And you stick together and you love each other, and it's about family.
To like unconditional love, like that's always been number one with you guys, and just something that you just instilled with all of us is just that unconditional love.
Family is the most important thing. And not only that, but it's you guys make it easy to understand what it is like to be a good human being that everybody likes. No matter who you meet, they like you. They love you. I learned how to be the way I am because of you. My sense of humor from Grandpa, my heart and soul from Lita, and, you know, all my family. I love every single one of them. My children, my wife, my cousins, everybody.
I always remember Grandpa talking about himself as two people, one person before he stopped drinking and one person after. And since I only remember him after, he gave me hope in my life when I came to the crossroads that I had to stop drinking, that I could be a better man just like him. And for that, I'm very grateful.
There was a couple that you took me to see a few times, and you commented to me that they never came to your house. It was always you and Grandpa that would go to see them. And I remember once I asked you while we were driving to their place, I said, well, if they don't come to see you, why do you go see them? And you said, well, if we don't go see them, then we'll never see them. And it was just very simple. And from that, I learned that my family and also the friends that I have here in New York City who I call my family, I treat them the same way. I make them a priority, and that's what I got from the both of you. Thank you.
Yeah, Grandpa, he was one of the hardest working people that I'd ever known, and that's a very important lesson to learn in life. And Grandma, what I'll always remember is that, you know, you always had time for me. You always could be there to do what I needed you to do. It doesn't matter what it was. Make me a snack, read to me, let's go for a walk. You just were always there for me. Just completely unconditional love, unselfishness with your time. And I love you more than I could ever tell you.